Hello, how are you today? Welcome to Musicalina. And today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite debut albums. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe. I do post videos every week. So, the first album I want to talk about today is Exile in Guyville by Liz Phair. Exile in Guyville was produced by Brad Wood and Liz Phair. It was recorded on cassette tapes, which were circulated around Chicago, and it was eventually released in June of 1993. So even though the album's lyrics feel and seem very personal, apparently Liz Phair has stated in interviews that the lyrics weren't really about her. This is a quote from her. She says, "That stuff didn't happen to me, and that's what made writing it interesting. I wasn't connecting with my friends. I wasn't connecting with relationships. I was in love with people who couldn't care less about me. I was yearning to be part of a scene. I was in a posing kind of mode, yearning to have things happen for me that weren't happening. So I wanted to make it seem real and convincing. I wrote the whole album for a couple people to see and know me." I know when I first heard this album, I was totally convinced that all of these songs were based on experiences that she had had. It felt very real. It all felt pretty relatable, even though I was still fairly young when the album came out. I was pretty blown away. I loved every song. I still love every song. I haven't listened to the album in full in a while, but I really should. My personal favorites off this album are the first song, which is called 6'1", Explain It to Me, Never Said, Divorce Song, and Stratford on Guy. She did have a couple of hit singles off of this album, and the album was critically very well received and really became an indie favorite. Liz Phair continued making albums well into the 2000s, definitely going in a more mainstream direction, but I've enjoyed every album from her that I have heard. Next on my list is Little Earthquakes by Toriyamos. So Little Earthquakes was released in January of 1992. It was an album that Toriyamos wrote after Why Can't Tori Read parted ways. I did mention this band in a previous video. They were a hair metal band fronted by Amos. Some of their videos are on YouTube if you are at all interested. The videos are quite interesting, especially when compared to Toriyamos's image with the piano. It's totally different. Tori originally recorded a 10-track demo tape, which Atlantic Records ultimately rejected. So then her and producer Eric Rossi reworked some songs, and they added some new songs in, like the song Girl and Precious Things and Mother, and that version was ultimately accepted by Atlantic Records. So I first saw the video, it was her first video as a solo artist for the song Silent All These Years. It is one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen. It's extremely minimalist, and it's just this simple, beautiful, it's a piece of art, actually. And so I went out and bought the album, and I was completely blown away. I'd never heard anything like that before. Tori's writing can be kind of abstract, although her writing definitely inspired my own when I was younger. She is extraordinarily talented and has made many albums. Hang on, I'm gonna find out how many albums she has. Okay, she has 15 studio albums and 2 live albums, so quite an expansive career. My personal favorite album from her is From the Choir Girl Hotel. I think that was when she was really at her creative peak. So after that album came out, Little Earthquakes, I actually went with a couple friends to see her live at the Count Basie Theater in New Jersey. And we were about to leave, and we were at my house. My friends and I were at my house, and I was wearing, I think, I don't know, it was like a flannel shirt, I think. And my mom looked at me and she said, "You're wearing that? You're not wearing that." to a concert. Go change your shirt into something nicer. And I was like, oh my God. But I did. I went and I changed into like a nicer button-down shirt, right? So we get to Count Basie, to the theater, and we take our seats, and there is a man sitting 2 rows ahead of us wearing an actual straitjacket. So I looked at my friends and I was like, yeah, it's a good thing I changed my shirt, you know, because I wouldn't want to look unkempt for the man in the actual straitjacket. The next album on my list is the self-titled debut from Halestorm. So singer Lizzie Hale and her brother AJ, who plays drums, they had been writing music since they were like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And their debut album was released in 2009, April of 2009. I think Lizzie has one of the best rock voices out there. I would love to see them live. They tour nonstop. Obviously, they're not touring at the moment, but I think they would be really awesome live. My favorite Halestorm album is called The Strange Case Of, although I really love this debut. It is definitely an indicator of greater things to come. All the songs are really well written, well produced, well executed. Again, Lizzie's voice is amazing. AJ's drumming is, his drumming reminds me of like Animal from the Muppets. That's a compliment. I hope that didn't come out too weird, but yeah, the songs were all really catchy, and yeah, it's just a really great album. The next album is the debut album from The Doors, called The Doors. The Doors was released in January of 1967, and it has songs that everybody knows: Light My Fire, Break On Through, The End. Every song on the album is famous. I was a Doors nut when I was in high school. Like the last 2 years of high school, I went through a huge like hippie music, like 60s and 70s music phase. And it was spurned by my love of the Doors. I was obsessed with everything they did. I was obsessed with Jim Morrison, and I was so jealous because my father actually saw the Doors live in the 70s, in the early 70s, before Jim Morrison's death, of course. And he said that Jim drank the entire concert and just got drunker and drunker as the show went on. So I did see, how old was I? I think I was like 18 or 19. Some friends and I went and saw the Soft Parade, which is a Doors cover band. They're pretty famous in their own right. The singer sounds and actually looks very much like Morrison. They were amazing. That was really fun. So the debut album from The Doors was critically very well received, and it was an indicator, again, of bigger things to come, greater things to come, and they did get better. The album Strange Days is definitely an improvement. It's a better album, I think, and I think one of their best. My favorite is Morrison Hotel. That album lives in my heart and soul forever. It's a great blues rock album. I think one of the greatest albums of all time. Okay, and we are at the end of the list. My favorite debut album of all time. I know what you think I'm going to say. You think I'm going to say Appetite for Destruction. I'm leaving Appetite out of this because that's everybody's. That's just like a given, you know? That's like saying like, yeah, I drink water. Well, yeah, I mean, everybody does. I feel like there's just been so much said about Appetite that there's really nothing left to say, so I wanted to talk about some other albums on this list. So my favorite debut album of all time is 10 by Pearl Jam. 10 was released in August of 1991, and most of the songs on that album are actually Mother Love Bone songs that were reworked after the death of Andrew Wood. He was the lead singer of Mother Love Bone, and he passed away from a heroin overdose. And so when Eddie Vedder was hired to front Pearl Jam, he reworked some of the melodies and the lyrics as well. This album has been described as having a warm, rich sound, and I could not agree more. If this album were a color, it would be the color terracotta. It would be this warm, rich, autumny, I don't know. If it were a season, it would be autumn. If your album was a season, what season would it be, guys? Anyway, I love all the songs equally off of this album. I do like everything that they've done. I like everything that has come after 10, but I do think that 10 is the best thing that they've ever done. I just don't think you get any stronger musically and lyrically than an album like 10. And of course, the power and the emotion of Eddie Vedder's voice. Of course, I had a huge crush on Eddie Vedder. Every woman in the 90s had a crush on Eddie Vedder. You know, Weird Al has a song called My Baby's in Love with Eddie Vedder, and it's so true. So we were all madly in love with him. So that's my list. Those are my favorite debut albums. Please comment down below and let me know what yours is. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And I will see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves.